Good morning. Your time is 6:30 on July the 25th. It's Thursday. Thank you for tuning into Mountain News this morning. Well, it's a chilly start. Some of you might need a jacket as you go out the door. And Kelly has said it feels like early to mid-October. And I tend to agree with her, but I'm okay with that. Let's bring her in this morning and get a better breakdown of what just people should expect. Kelly, good morning.
Good morning, Will. Yes, this is definitely a nice break from what we saw last weekend, that sweltering heat. Now we're feeling like October here in the mountains. Those temperatures into the mid to upper 50s around the region. London checking in at 58 degrees this morning. Richmond is at 55, and Pikeville, you are at 56 degrees this morning. And because of all those clear skies, a little bit of fog is settling into the mountains, especially into the valley areas. So definitely be a little bit careful as you head out the door this morning. And your coffee meter for today, we're going to call it a normal day, but you're going to want the warm drink as opposed to the cool drink because it is a little bit chilly out there. Will, going to send it back to you.
All righty, Kelly. Thank you, ma'am. Well, the White House is claiming victory in the wake of Robert Mueller's congressional testimony yesterday. That is despite the former special counsel's assertion that his report did not exonerate President Trump. Laura Podesta has more from New York.
Former special counsel Robert Mueller was on Capitol Hill yesterday, summoned there to answer questions about his nearly 2-year-long investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election.
The testimony you're about to give is true and correct.
The 74-year-old spent more than 6 hours testifying before the House's Judiciary and Intelligence Committees. Mueller mostly referred lawmakers to his written report or offered one-word responses.
And what about total exoneration? Did you actually totally exonerate the president?
No.
You could charge the president of the United States with obstruction of justice after he left office.
Yes.
The back-to-back hearings produced no real revelations or new insights into Mueller's probe.
We had a very good day today, the Republican Party, our country. There was no defense of what Robert Mueller was trying to defend, in all fairness to Robert Mueller.
Democrats say they're determined to uncover wrongdoing by the president.
There's a cone of silence in the White House that is engaged in a massive cover-up in the obstruction of justice.
Now the House Judiciary Committee plans to ask a court to enforce a subpoena for testimony it issued to former White House counsel Don McGahn. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Now, Mueller warned lawmakers that his team uncovered substantial evidence of Russian interference in the U.S. elections, adding, quote, "They are doing it as we sit here." Well, Pope Francis has released disciplinary measures for a Roman Catholic bishop in West Virginia accused in a sex scandal. The former bishop of the Diocese of Wheeling, Charleston, is no longer allowed to live in the area or participate in public church events. In addition to these penalties, he will also have to make, quote, "personal amends to the victims." The future bishop of the diocese will have the final decision concerning those amends. Well, an early morning police chase in Ohio was caught on camera. The chase, lasting about 3 minutes, came to a frightening end. You can see the driver end up flipping the car forward, landing upside down in the water. The police chief said if it weren't for there being 2 officers, they would not have had time to come back to rescue the driver after rescuing the passenger. The driver pleaded not guilty to a number of charges, including failure to comply and driving without a license. Well, the special session here in the Commonwealth is over, and Governor Bevin's pension relief bill is now law. The Senate passed the bill Wednesday morning. It offers some relief for regional universities and quasi-governmental agencies like health departments, mental health centers, and domestic violence shelters. Hillary Thornton has followed this from the beginning.
That's a promise that I'm going to want to keep.
The discussion was lengthy.
25 jobs matter.
And at times passionate.
This is complicated stuff, and they came to us to try to get some relief.
3 floor amendments by Democrats failing to pass the vote. Ultimately, House Bill 1 clearing its final hurdle in the legislature without any changes, with a 27-11 vote. 2 Republicans siding with Democrats voting no.
27 of 29 is a pretty strong showing on this vote.
And Democrats obviously not happy with this outcome and still adamant in their belief that this law is just a step forward to much bigger changes for the pension system.
We are ending the state's partnership with its employees. And maybe it's not obvious today, but I think if that happens, it's the beginning of the end for state pensions in this state.
So far beyond the pale, it's not even believable. It's a red herring, a ruse something to get the attention of groups not even affected by this bill and to attempt to fire them up here in the middle of the summer against this bill.
Governor Matt Bevins signing the bill into law just a few hours after its passage. The legislation that is now state law drafted by the governor, it gives groups some immediate relief with a one-year freeze at the 49% contribution rate. It then gives them the option to either stay in the system or to exit it by paying what they owe in a lump sum or in installments.
It doesn't pick and choose for them, doesn't force one size upon all, but it lets every single one of these organizations make the decision that's best for them.
Hillary Thornton, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, Attorney General Andy Beshear has threatened legal action over this legislation. At this point, a lawsuit has not been filed. Well, Conrads Law was announced Wednesday morning. The bill's named after Conrad Roy, who died by suicide in 2014. His mom was on hand to introduce the legislation that would specifically punish people for intentionally encouraging someone to take their own life if they know that person's experiencing suicidal thoughts. This after Michelle Carter, Conrad's girlfriend, was convicted of manslaughter as a result of his death. Conrad's mother says she is hoping to protect other families.
It has nothing to do right now with what has happened with her. It's something that I want in the future to honor him and to prevent this from ever happening. I don't think anyone understands the difficulty this has been on my family.
We are told the bill's been filed. Next, it'll go in front of the House and Senate Judiciary committees. Well, American women are having fewer babies than ever before. A new Centers for Disease Control and Prevention report says the nation's general fertility rate dropped to an all-time low last year. The rate, which measures the number of live births per 1,000 women, recorded a 2% decline. Other studies show the fertility rate has been dropping for a while, and it's now at the level where the nation cannot replace its existing population. Well, 3 businesses in Letcher County have recently switched to using solar energy. Homes Incorporated got their first energy bill since the switch last month. The executive director says the organization saved almost $1,000 on the bill compared to June of last year. The organization projects to have the installation of panels paid off within 9.5 years with the money they are saving.
And I was very pleasantly surprised to get our first bill, which was $975 less than the bill of the same month, the same billing days as the year before.
Now, Long said it only took 8 days for his crew to install the panels under the supervision of a solar company from Danville. Apple Shop and Hemp Hill Community Center in Letcher County have also made the switch to solar energy. Well, Puerto Rico's embattled governor is stepping down amid a growing political and personal scandal. His decision comes after nearly 2 weeks of protests. Tom Hansen has the latest.
Puerto Rico's governor, Ricardo Rosselló, is stepping down.
Hoy les anuncio que estaré renunciando al puesto del gobernador efectivo el viernes 2 de agosto del 2019.
For nearly 2 weeks, thousands marched in the streets calling for him to leave office. The demonstrations followed the FBI's arrest of 2 former aides to the governor on fraud charges involving more than $15 million in federal funding. Shortly after, hundreds of pages of a group chat involving Rosselló were leaked. They included profane, homophobic, and sexist comments about political opponents and celebrities. Some even mocked the island's hurricane victims. A judge has issued search warrants for the cell phones of some of the 12 people involved in the controversial online chats. Next in line for governor should have been Rosselló's Secretary of State, but the controversy also forced his resignation. That means Secretary of Justice Wanda Vasquez will be the next governor of Puerto Rico. Tom Hansen, CBS News, New York.
Now, Rosselló says his resignation is effective August 2nd. Demonstrators also upset with Puerto Rico's deepening financial crisis. It is about $70 billion in debt, and nearly half the residents live below the poverty line. Well, it is 6:40 on this Thursday morning, so let's send it on over to Kelly as she breaks down some chilly temperatures to start this late July day. Kelly?
Well, we are starting off with those chilly temperatures, warming up just a hair throughout the mountains. Mid-50s for most of us, 57 here in Hazard. Prestonsburg, you're at 57 as well. London, a little bit warmer, 58. Jackson, you are at 61 degrees this morning. Perfect morning to go ahead and head out for a run. Going to be feeling pretty refreshing out there. Maybe even a long sleeve shirt as you head out for the run. But those 60s do return as we progress throughout the morning. And all we have to worry about is plenty of sunshine. That humidity forecast, what we're looking at is a very comfortable Thursday, even into Friday, Saturday, and through the weekend. Not going to be feeling too bad, Will.
Not going to be feeling too bad at all, Kelly. Thank you. Well, we will have stories that are trending on WYMT.com next. As always, thank you for joining us right here on Mountain News this morning. Still to go, it's 6:41. A college student made this discovery of a lifetime in the Badlands of North Dakota. We will show you exactly what he found.